Welcome to this space, a place where awakened souls come home to themselves. If you're hearing these words right now, it's not by accident. Something, or someone, is trying to speak to you. And today, the universe chose this exact moment to whisper. Sometimes, it only takes one small event, one unexpected message to shift the entire current of your life. And maybe, just maybe, you're standing at the edge of such a turning point, where justice, love, and destiny meet to rewrite your story. So for now, let this voice guide you to slow down. Listen not just with your ears but with your heart, because the moment you truly listen, you'll hear it a soft knock, gentle yet divine, echoing from the deepest chambers of your soul. Aries. Sometimes we don't realize that life is quietly preparing us for a sacred meeting, not with a teacher, not with a lover, but with the justice of heaven itself, the kind that has been patiently waiting for you all these years. Imagine this. In the rush of daily life, somewhere out there, someone is signing a paper with your name on it. A simple signature, yet it marks the exact moment the universe decides to return what was once taken from you, your dignity, your trust, or that long-lost peace you thought would never come back. In this world, where human justice often moves slowly, divine justice never sleeps. It doesn't wear the face of judgment, but the calm expression of balance. It doesn't come to punish, but to remind you every act of goodness will one day be seen. Aries. The universe sometimes chooses strange ways to send its messages. A dream that keeps repeating. A sudden restlessness for no reason. A faint voice in your mind. All are whispers telling you that something is moving, that an old cycle is ending, and a new door is about to open. Maybe you've thought, I've tried so hard, but no one notices. But remember, light never disappears. It only hides beneath the dark, waiting to shine even brighter when it's found again. The universe hasn't forgotten your effort, your tears, or those nights you prayed in silence. I believe souls like yours brave enough to walk, to fall, to love, and still to believe are always protected. That lawyer, that document, they're not just part of the earthly story. They're symbols of divine order, rewards for the faith you kept, even when you had no reason left to hold on. And Aries, if there's one thing I've learned on my own path, it's this. When life suddenly grows quiet, don't be afraid. That silence isn't emptiness, it's the moment the universe begins to rewrite your story. So don't resist, don't try to reason your way through everything. Let your heart become a small lantern and let faith lead the way. Soon, you'll start to notice the signs, repeating numbers, a stranger's gaze, a call from someone you never expected. Each is a fragment, slowly, forming the larger picture of destiny. And when you finally see it, there will be a quiet smile on your face as you whisper, "Ah, this was the promise of the universe. A promise you once forgot, but the universe never did." Don't run after it. Walk slowly. Because in every breath, in every subtle movement, divine justice is drawing closer. It carries truth not to expose you, but to illuminate you. It carries a new chapter not to end the old one, but to begin a deeper healing than you've ever known. And when the wind changes, you'll feel it. A faint light will slip into the dim corners of your heart, the very place you thought hope could never return. When that moment comes, whisper softly to yourself, "I am ready to receive." There are moments in life when you can't explain why your heart suddenly beats faster at the sight of a number sequence, or why a memory you thought you'd forgotten finds its way back into your dreams at night. Those moments are not coincidences. They are signals, soft knocks on the door of your soul, reminders that the universe is trying to speak to you. It might be 11, 11, 17, or 33. It could be an old song that plays at the exact time you need to hear it. Each of these small things is like a dim light guiding you through the darkness of confusion, leading you toward the quiet clarity of truth. The spirit world doesn't speak in words the way we do. It speaks through feelings, through synchronicities, through the glance of a stranger, or the gentle breeze that brushes your face while you're praying. And if you're still enough, you'll hear something not with your ears, but from deep inside your chest, the sound of divine timing unfolding. Some call it intuition. Some call it signs from the universe. But after years of working with energy and praying with wandering souls, I've come to call it something much simpler, a reminder that you are never truly alone, that there's an unseen hand quietly arranging everything, holding balance among the countless pieces of destiny. These signs tend to appear when your heart begins to slow down, when you stop chasing answers out there and start listening to the quiet voice within. That silence can be uncomfortable at first because it asks you to face everything you haven't yet named, but it's within that very silence that the most gentle truths are revealed. The world of signs isn't for those in a hurry. It's for souls who have learned to pause, to listen, and to trust in what the eyes can't yet see. Just as a seed must surrender to the dark soil before it's welcomed by light, you too are being prepared for a kind of blooming you can't yet imagine. Let me share this from someone who has stood on the edge of collapse and still believed in goodness. Every sign you receive is a piece of a letter written just for you by the universe. You may not understand it now, but one day, when you look back, every detail will fit so perfectly that all you can whisper is, "So that's why." It all makes sense. Let the small light within you guide the way. When you choose to believe, your vision begins to change faces you dream of. Feel familiar. Old memories carry new meanings. Coincidences connect like thin threads weaving together. And within all those random events, a truth is trying to speak that justice, love, and faith are finding their way back to you. If you're hearing this right now, take it as confirmation. Because no one hears a message unless they're ready to understand it. Truth always finds its way to the right person, at the right moment. You may not realize it, but this very moment as you're listening, as something inside your chest stirs, this is the universe saying, "I see you. I am here." And when you look up, you'll notice the sky looks somehow different, softer, brighter. The small things around. You begin to breathe again, alive and glowing. You'll understand that you're stepping into a new layer of energy, a place where nothing is random anymore, where what you believe and what is real finally meet. There's no need to rush for answers. Let each sign touch you gently, like the first drop of rain on your skin, cool, awakening, alive, because behind every sign, a new story is being written. A story where the old and the new energies meet, collide, dissolve, and transform you into something freer, lighter, and more whole than before. Each time truth comes closer, the deepest layers of fear within us begin to stir, not to destroy us, but to ask one simple question: do you trust the light enough to let it lead? When divine justice starts to move, the human heart trembles like a small candle flickering in the wind. We fear what we can't control. We fear that when the door finally opens, we'll be forced to face the past we never healed. But sacred justice never comes to punish. It comes to set you free. You've always been the one who dared to stand up, to fight, to face the world head on. But this time, it's different. There's no opponent, no weapon, no victory to prove. Only you, standing before the quiet shadow inside the part that still believes you don't deserve happiness. This is the greatest collision a soul can experience, the meeting of justice and fear, of light arriving while darkness tries to hold on. And when you dare to look directly at it, you'll see that fear itself is a form of love, a piece of your spirit trying to protect you from being hurt again. You may feel exhausted. It might seem as if the air around you is spinning, as though two worlds, the old and the new, are fighting for space inside your body. But don't resist it. Let yourself feel everything. Every great transformation begins with a trembling, a storm of energy that breaks you open so something new can enter. I've seen people cry the moment they realize what they were so afraid to lose was never really theirs, and what they feared to face was exactly what needed healing. In that instant, their tears stopped being weakness and became light, the kind that comes only after surrender. So soften, because only when you stop resisting can the current of divine justice flow through you and wash everything clean. Like water meeting stone, it never fights back, it simply curves around, patiently, until even the stone learns to yield. Many think of justice as the sound of a gavel echoing in a cold room. But the justice of the universe is softer than that. It's the whisper in the wind that says, "You've done all you can. Now, let me take it from here." If everything feels too big, too fast, pause. Breathe deeply, close your eyes, and come home to your body. You are safe, you are seen, you are heard. Nothing is working against you anymore. Everything, every person, every event is aligning to place you exactly where you're meant to be in the grand design. You'll begin to see that what once hurt you has become your greatest teacher. That every fall has been the foundation of a new life. When fear and justice meet, they don't cancel each other out, they merge into something pure, the light of understanding. And when you understand, fear fades. When fear fades, justice is no longer an idea, it becomes your breath. Every choice, every word, every step begins to vibrate on that same frequency, the frequency of truth and compassion. Now, in the quiet rhythms of life, let your inner flame rise again, not to burn but to warm, not to react but to illuminate. That's when you'll know you've crossed over. In the hush between the wind and your heartbeat, you'll sense something changing, as if the world itself is holding its breath, waiting for you to open your eyes and realize you've stepped into another layer of yourself. A space where fear has given way to stillness, and stillness begins to open the path inward. And within that stillness, a lesson awaits, a sacred one, seen only by those brave enough to walk through their fear. A lesson not written in any book, but carved into the soul of everyone who has ever touched the justice of heaven. There are moments in life when you feel like you're losing. You look around and see every door closing, years of effort dissolving into nothing. But sometimes, right in that stillness, the universe is quietly arranging another kind of victory. Not loud, not dramatic, but powerful enough to change the entire direction of your soul. Because not every victory comes from a fight. Some victories are born the moment you stop, when your hands let go, when your heart stops trying to control everything. That's the victory of someone who keeps faith, even when there's no reason left to believe. I once thought strength meant endurance, never giving up, never breaking down. But after years walking the path of healing, I've learned this. True strength is peace. Peace isn't the absence of pain. It's the ability to stand in the middle of the storm and still trust. When that understanding settles in, everything changes. The people who once hurt you become souls who simply came to teach you how to love yourself. The failures that broke you become lessons, measures of how far you've grown on your spiritual journey. Aries, your path was never meant to be easy. You were born under the fire of Mars, the planet of action, of passion, of battle. You've always wanted to move, to lead, to see results now. But the laws of heaven don't move on human timing. The universe is never in a hurry, but it's always on time. Divine justice doesn't arrive when you demand it. It comes when you've learned to trust in silence. Because what truly belongs to you, no one can take away. It can only be delayed, waiting for the moment when your heart is calm enough to receive it without fear and wise enough to hold it without pride. I've seen many people use their strength to protect themselves from pain, only to realize that resistance itself had become their prison. When you stop proving, you begin to breathe. When you stop holding on so tightly, what's yours finally has room to return. This world has two courts, the court of man and the court of the soul. The human court judges right and wrong, winning and losing, but the court of the soul asks only one thing: what have you learned from this pain? And it's there not in verdicts, but in awakening that true justice is carried out. If you're waiting for something right now, remember, waiting is not wasted. It's the space where the universe rearranges what's misaligned, preparing you for something far better than you imagined. Don't rush, don't doubt. Trust that heaven knows exactly when the door should open. Sometimes, the real lesson isn't in the answer, but in the patience it takes to wait for that answer to arrive. And within that patience, you'll notice a quiet transformation. You're no longer someone chasing justice, but a soul who lives in harmony with it. So take a deep breath. Feel your heartbeat, that's the pulse of heaven moving inside you. Every breath you take is the universe whispering, "I'm still here." And one day, when you look back, you'll see how perfectly it all unfolded: every delay, every pause, every loss. Each was a way the universe protected you from what wasn't ready, so that when justice finally arrived, you were strong enough to meet it with peace, not fear. Aries, if your heart feels softer right now, it means you're moving in the right direction. Faith is returning. Light is beginning to lead. And when faith replaces fear, when you finally know you don't have to hold everything together, that's when the miracle begins to move. A new light will come, gentle as a breeze, yet powerful enough to change everything. It might arrive through a message, a handshake, or a document waiting to be signed, the universe's quiet way of saying, "It's your time now." One morning, you'll wake up and feel that the air around you has changed. Not because the weather shifted, but because something inside you has quietly begun to move. A calmness, a softness, as if after all these years of struggle, your soul has finally decided to sit down and rest. That's the first sign of a miracle, not one that needs fireworks or applause, but one that simply asks your heart to open, just enough to receive. You've walked through enough storms to understand now that true abundance isn't about the numbers in your account, it's the ability to take a deep breath in the middle of uncertainty. Money will come, opportunities will appear, those documents you've worried about will finally be signed. But the real treasure lies not in gain, but in peace, the kind that stays even when nothing feels certain. This is the moment when your good karma begins to settle. Not because someone feels pity for you, but because the universe knows you've completed your lesson. Every honest act, every kind choice, every time you helped another quietly, they've become seeds. And now, in silence, they're breaking through the soil. The universe moves in its own rhythm. When you stop chasing, everything starts moving toward you. When you stop trying to prove your worth, that's exactly when you become worthy. Peace itself is the signal, the sign that you're finally ready to receive what's been yours all along. In the days ahead, a message may find you: an email, a call, or an unexpected invitation. A small door will open quietly, gently, yet it will change your direction. When it happens, take a deep breath, smile, step forward, don't doubt it, don't delay, because calm is the key that unlocks fortune. I've always said when divine justice arrives, it never comes alone. It brings with it money, opportunity, and recognition. But above all, it returns something deeper, the feeling of safety in your own life, a peace you may not have felt for a long time. Let everything you've endured stand as witness to your journey. No one knows how strong you had to be to rise again after loss. No one knows how fiercely you believed in the light when surrounded by darkness. But the universe knows. And today, it speaks clearly. Peace is the greatest reward. If your heart feels slower now, softer, that's energy shifting. You're stepping into the frequency of abundance, where things no longer come because you worry, but because you trust. Allow yourself to receive without asking for permission. Miracles don't demand promises or sacrifice. They only need a soul willing to say, "I am ready to receive." And when you say those words, it's not just your finances or your career that change. It's your very energy structure, expanding, lightening, becoming clearer. Remember this: no blessing ever arrives at the wrong time. It comes precisely when you are calm enough to keep it and wise enough not to lose yourself in it. When peace is steady within you, money is no longer just material. It becomes heaven's acknowledgement that you've walked through darkness with light. So now, if you feel a warm wave rising inside you, let gratitude fill your chest. Write it down. I welcome divine justice and peace, not for anyone else to see, but as your own quiet declaration. You're ready to move forward, steady, open, and rich in both spirit and form. And as those words settle, you'll notice another miracle beginning. Not in your bank account, but in the way you love, the way you forgive, and the way you now see the world, with eyes made clear by grace. Some truths are never written on paper. They're carved directly into the heart. And sometimes, when divine justice moves, it doesn't just clarify contracts, money, or opportunities. It illuminates the invisible threads that bind one soul to another. Because love itself is a form of justice, the justice of emotion. It returns to you what you once gave in sincerity, but in a different shape, deeper, wiser, more whole. It shows you that the one who hurt you didn't come to break you, but to help you see the part within yourself that still needed healing. You see, when the soul is ready, the universe always finds a way, a quiet, perfect way to bring those who once drifted apart back onto the same frequency. It might be a random phone call, a dream that makes you remember a face you thought you'd forgotten, or a meeting you never planned, yet feels written in the stars. No one enters your life without purpose. Some come to teach you love, some to teach you limits, and some arrive simply to show you how to forgive. Forgiveness not because they deserve it, but because you deserve freedom. When truth reveals itself, it doesn't always come as words. Sometimes it's silence, a silence that says everything. A look, a message, or the quiet peace that fills your heart when you think of someone who once caused you pain. That peace is proof that your heart has cleared. Aries, love doesn't need to be a storm. You don't need sleepless nights or battles to prove your worth in someone's eyes. True love doesn't arrive to control, it comes to walk beside you. It doesn't come to stir chaos, it comes to calm the soul. And when you can love while keeping your inner stillness, that's when love transforms from instinct into light. I know you've loved deeply, given, trusted, even lost yourself in someone else's world. But those heartbreaks open the door for you to meet yourself again, the version of you who longs to be loved, safely, seen clearly, understood, completely. Because sometimes, the journey to find love is really the journey home to your own soul. Think of the people you've been tied to. Some had to leave, their role in your story is complete. Others remain, but on a gentler, higher frequency, quieter, clearer, more truthful. And somewhere out there, someone is learning how to return, not to repeat the past, but to build a love that's kinder, wiser, touched by light. If lately you've felt your heart energy shifting, less anger, less need to control, more gratitude, then that's your sign. The second miracle is unfolding. The miracle isn't that someone comes back. It's that you come back to yourself, whole, unafraid, and free. When love is cleansed of fear and possession, it becomes the brightest force of all. It helps you see others not through the lens of pain, but through compassion. And when you can love with those clear eyes, the universe sends you kindred souls, people who don't make you doubt, don't make you prove, they simply stay in peace. If you're hearing this now, let your shoulders drop. Take a slow breath in. Feel the warmth rising in your chest. It's not a memory. It's love, returning, in the form heaven designed just for you. A love that doesn't weaken you but strengthens you. A love that doesn't make you afraid to lose, because it reminds you what's truly yours will always find its way back. And within that light, as your heart grows light as air, you'll sense something new, awakening a current stronger, deeper, where love and purpose begin to meet. A sacred space where your soul is reborn, not just to feel love, but to become it and carry that light into the world. Sometimes, what we call the end is really just a beginning, the start of a new chapter, the awakening of a soul after a long dream. When truth finally reveals itself, you no longer have to carry the weight of what once was, and as that burden slips away in the soft dust of memory, you realize freedom has always meant coming home to yourself. For years, you may have lived as a guardian of your own justice, fighting, defending, proving, and sometimes falling. But now, divine justice has spoken on your behalf. You no longer need the sword. The only weapon you'll ever need is the light in your heart. Rebirth never comes from the outside. It begins in silence the moment you pause, take a breath, and whisper to yourself, "I'm ready." That's when new energy begins to flow. Every cell in your body wakes up. Ideas, dreams, desires you once buried thinking you weren't enough start to return, like small birds finding their way home. Aries, you were born to lead the way. Wherever you go, you are the first spark that lights the dark. But unlike the fire of your past, the one that burned, conquered, and exhausted, this fire warms, it illuminates. It no longer needs applause, because its glow comes from within. When you're freed from the need to prove yourself, you begin to understand that true purpose isn't about doing great things. It's about doing ordinary things with a great heart. It's in the way you comfort someone with your words, the way you bring hope into a tired room, the way you choose kindness in a world that rushes past it. Purpose doesn't arrive like thunder. It comes like breath, like the quiet beat of your heart when you see what's right and simply know you must act. And each time you follow that knowing, the universe opens another door, offering you the chance to be yourself once again, but deeper this time. There will be moments of stillness, no applause, no company. But within that silence, your soul grows. It no longer needs to be seen, it only needs to be true. And that is the sign of rebirth. You're entering a phase where everything begins to realign: your work, your relationships, your dreams, even your beliefs. All of it is being reshaped to serve something greater, the purpose of your soul. You'll begin to see that nothing that happened was wasted. Every twist, every heartbreak, every delay, they were the map leading you back to the strongest, kindest, and most luminous version of yourself. So now, as you stand at the doorway of a new life, let yourself smile. Everything you need is already inside you. You don't have to chase anymore. You don't have to push. Just breathe and return to your own light. Your mission isn't to be perfect, it's to be real. Not to change the world in a day, but to drop small lights into it, through kindness, through presence, through the quiet peace of your breath. Because this world doesn't need more warriors, it needs more souls who know how to love with an awakened heart. If you feel a warm current rising through your body right now, that's the universe touching you, saying, "I need you." Not to fight, but to shine. Not to win, but to help others remember they can rise, just like you did. Whisper softly as a promise to yourself, "I welcome my rebirth." And as you say it, the energy within you begins to move. You become gentler, more patient, brighter. That light will carry you through the days ahead to a place where you'll see that when your heart is reborn, life itself begins to bloom again. And one quiet afternoon, in the simplest of moments, you'll realize your light no longer shines for you alone. It's reaching outward now, touching others, healing the souls that find their way into your path. Let your shoulders soften. Let the breeze move through you like a quiet blessing. Everything that's happened on this journey, the joy, the pain, the loss, the miracles, all carried the same purpose: to awaken you. And when you awaken, when your heart opens wide enough to give thanks even for what's unfinished, that's the moment life begins to smile back at you. Thank you for walking all the way here with patience and faith. This world is gentler, brighter, because of souls like yours, souls who still choose light, even after walking through the dark. May every step you take be lifted by peace. May each new morning find you whole, filled with love, gratitude, and the quiet light of the universe. And remember, you have always been, and will always be, guided by an unseen hand, by a love that asks for nothing in return. Thank you for listening. May peace live in your heart like a flame that never fades.